Hi there, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, Today I want to talk about mindset, and actually the question I want to ask is, can we change our life by changing our minds? Um, Now, actually, you are conscious awareness, and that never changes. As a matter of fact, you are the stillness in the midst of all chaos and noise. You are the unchanging in the midst of all changefulness. So that never does change the actually who you are. But as conscious awareness, we can put our light, like a flashlight shines on something on an object. It doesn't become the object, but it can shine on something. And a lot of times our conscious awareness can get distracted by our physical self, by our minds, our thoughts, and our bodies, and actually identify that way. And that's not really what we want for our lives, because then our minds, in effect, are actually controlling our lives. And so our minds make really good subjects, but not good masters. So we want to figure out, how do we change that from occurring in our life. Where our mindset is really then of critical importance. So the more we understand about our mindset, the more positive experiences that we can have in our lives. The last time I did a video, one of my friends mentioned a podcast that actually explains a lot about the power of mindsets in taking charge of our lives. The podcast was called Hidden Brain by Shankar Vedantam. And the particular two-part episode was an occasion where he interviewed Alia Crum, who is a psychologist who studies the impact of mindsets on our lives, on our behavior, and on health outcomes. And also listen to one of Dr. Crum's videos on YouTube that's called The Science of How Mindset Transforms the Human Experience. And I'm going to put the links to everything in the description down below. So according to Dr. Crum, the brain's job is to regulate our bodies based on what it believes to be true about the external environment. So your mind doesn't observe reality, it actually changes reality. So what your experience is tomorrow is based on your mindset today. So therefore, if you change your mindset, you can change your life. According to Dr. Crum, and I'm sure you've heard about the placebo effect, it's such a powerful thing that it has to be controlled for in the clinical trials for any new pharmaceutical drug. If a person who's taking just a sugar pill thinks that it actually has medicine in it, it will change that person's physiological, biological systems. Studies have shown that placebos can actually impact 60 to 90% of all diseases. So placebos do actually trigger biological improvements. Therefore, we know that even a sugar pill can create a positive mindset that opens the door to our body's natural healing processes. So to test the power of mindset, Dr. Crum and her team did a lot of studies. I'm just going to mention 3 of them today. So first, I wanted to test to see if what we believe about stress can predict our ability to get through stressful events. And in this case, they studied U.S. Navy SEALs who were in training to actually become SEALs. And so just before they went through the most grueling week of their training, it's called Hell Week for a reason, they asked them a question. They asked them, do you think that stress is debilitating, or do you think that stress will boost your well-being? Well, depending on whether they thought that stress made them resilient, if that's how they answered, they got through Hell Week. So their answer, their positive mindset about stress was it was a predictor for their success in getting through that week. In another test, They wanted to test to see if what we believe to be true can actually change our health markers. So they interviewed a group of hotel housekeeping staff and asked them, do you exercise? Well, all of the housekeepers said no, that they didn't exercise. Their mindset was that since they didn't go to a gym, they actually did not get the benefits of exercising in a gym, even though they went home every day exhausted from their day of work. So the researchers just informed them, this is simply giving them new information, and told them that their work actually met the Surgeon General's recommendations for daily exercise. So what happened was, just by changing their mindset about the exercise that they got from their jobs, had these impacts. Their weight went down, their blood pressure decreased by 10 points, and they had a much better improvement in their mental health attitudes. So therefore, feeling better about yourself without changing anything else positively impacts health outcomes. So mindset does transform biological health markers. In a third study, the researchers wanted to see if what we believe to be true impacts our behavior. So they changed the labeling on the vegetable dishes in the cafeteria at a university. And so, for instance, instead of naming carrots healthy carrots, they named them decadent carrots or something like that. They used these indulgent names that are usually associated with high-calorie foods that are not good for you to describe the vegetable dishes. What they noted was a 30% increase in the students' consumption of vegetables just based on changing the labels. So they ran many other studies. I just wanted to share these three with you, but they always concluded that the right mindset can change people's lives. So if we believe that the choices that we make are going to have a positive impact in our lives, it probably is going to make a positive impact in our lives. So we just have to let go of negative messages that we may have gotten from our parents or from our teachers or from our work colleagues or even from our health professionals. If we fix positive thoughts in our minds, we need to feel the feeling that's associated with those positive thoughts so that we can feel the things that our mind is expecting us to feel. And having our hearts and minds agree on any topic is normally going to have an impact on our physical health and our well-being, and those things will come to pass. I want to read two passages of scripture from the Christian Bible that support what I'm sharing here. One of them is from Romans, and it reads this: "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So the pattern of this world tells us that we can't change, that we're victims of our circumstances, but we know as conscious awareness that that's not the case. There's another passage in Philippians that reads like this: "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." In both of these passages, we hear that we need to renew or renovate our minds so that we can think on higher things. As conscious awareness, you already are the peace of God. You are every one of those descriptive words. You are excellent, and you are pure and lovely and noble, and all those things. Any descriptive word that you can think of God, that word describes you, who you already are. You are not lacking in any way. You may not feel like it because you're not practicing this higher thinking, this mindset. You will know the peace of God when you practice this, because you're one with God, the source of life. But you may be paying all of your attention to your thoughts and your emotions and your body's experience, and not the reality of who you really are. So we want to change our thoughts to practice this higher mindset. When we do put into practice knowing who we are as our true self, and we do that consistently, this right thinking will change our life, because this is how we guard our hearts and minds and protect ourselves from negative life experiences. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to experience negative things in our life. We're not in control of life circumstances. But how we face the trials and the positive thoughts can't change the trials themselves, but it can change how we perceive the trials to be for us. If we believe that all things work for the good of those who love God, whatever it is that we're facing, God will help us see the good that comes out of it. Now, I want to conclude with my own personal experience about the tooth pain that I had that started a couple of months ago. Once I decided to choose a higher way of thinking, and I didn't allow my ego to control my thoughts about the pain, or even to create a story about the pain that I was believing. When I stopped doing that, I really chose a different path, a different mindset altogether. And then I created an image of myself being pain-free, without pain, being happy, and having just blissful experiences without having to worry or think about the pain might be coming up or might be cropping up later on. Now, creating this image and having the feelings associated with the thoughts in this new mindset, those were really important for me, to have my mind, my thoughts, and my heart to correlate, because then I had the expectation that my body would follow suit. Now, because the pain had happened so frequently before, I was actually aware of the sensations that started in my mouth before the pain came up. And so when I had this higher thinking, I started to, when I noticed these sensations, I would just notice them, kind of like smoke that would come under a door, a closed door that would come into a room. So I would see it happening, and I would notice it, but I wouldn't attach to it. I would just see these as triggers. These kind of triggers like to stay in the shadows, but I wasn't allowing that to happen. I was shining my light on them, but I wasn't focusing my attention on it, because I know that I'm such a great being that anything I focus my attention on will get bigger. So instead of focusing my attention there, I started focusing my attention on who I really am as conscious awareness. I started thinking about being the source of life, about being Christ consciousness before the foundation of the world was laid. I started actually thinking that perhaps I had orchestrated this particular experience to give me the opportunity to become who I really truly wanted to be. Maybe I had chosen this because I know in that moment that I can handle it. So I let go of things that prevent me from rising above the pain. Now, after enjoying these higher thoughts, I was actually enjoying a ecstasy with Father, with God, you know that. And then after a while of this, I would look to see if that original sensation had seeped back under the door and had left me, because sometimes it would just go away and I wouldn't even be aware of it until I looked for it again. But I want to say there are a few times when my old mindset persisted and still does persist. And at those times, I just take the medicine that I have discovered to be helpful to me during these times. So renewing of our mindset really can work in conjunction with everything else that we know to be helpful to us. It's not there to push against anything else that works for us. In my own experience, I've had very few other painful episodes since I've changed my mindset to remember in that moment who I am as conscious awareness. Now, I just want to share this with you, not to imply that you're not going through your own hell week or maybe your own hell year. I'm not making light of any circumstances that you're facing. Please know that. I just want you to know that you are more powerful and more resilient than you've been told that you are. Your mind is a powerful tool at your disposal. So if you can keep your thoughts centered on who you really are and be the captain of your life and not allow your mind to be your dictator, it's not a good dictator for you. And when your mind and heart agree, set your expectations to expect things to happen in your body and in your life. Be vigilant and consistent in guarding your hearts and your minds, and practice these things, because practice really does make perfect. God bless you. I love you so much. I love being in God's family with you. Put a comment down below if you have anything that you have any questions or comments. Love you so much. Bye-bye.